here's something that I find to be a cruel irony. The cheapest, lowest quality headphones you can get are the ones that typically have inline playback controls. And the high-end headphones like I like to use, my MDR 7506s, which are currently broken, one of the drivers blew out, probably do a repair video on that, do not feature a headphone control inline. Matter of fact, there's no way of doing that remotely. So much so that there is no way that there isn't even a product you can buy to do that. So today I'm going to make one, and let's see how that goes. Now, remote headphones use a standard that is shared by multiple types of devices. I'm going to go ahead and play back on my phone, pause, increase the volume, decrease the volume, and that's great. I really want to use this with my Fiio X5 Gen 2. It has limited support of this. I can play back, but I cannot adjust volume. You do everything by just multiple taps on the same button. So it only has one button to control, which sucks, but whatever. I can't fix this until someone ports Rockbox to it, which would be great. But the volume control doesn't really affect me anyway. I ripped the headphone cable out of my MDR 7506s so I can install a microphone, and that has an inline volume control, so I don't really need that. So today, all I want to do is just add an inline pause button for use with my Fiio. So most headphones are now going to use the CTIA standard, which is going to have a resistor connected to the microphone pin here, and when you press a button, that will short the microphone through the resistor to ground, and then the device can measure how much current that pulls, and that will tell it what action it needs to perform using that measurement. So all I'm going to do today is just verify which resistor value these use, because they obviously work with my Fiio, and then recreate that with a single button for pause playback, and have a headphone jack coming out of it so I can plug in my standard headphones. I'm really surprised there isn't a thing you can just buy for this, because it's literally going to be a connector, up to 3 buttons, another type of connector, and some resistors. It's like the cheapest product you could ever manufacture. But nope, no one's done it for some reason, so I have to make my own. I don't have any 4-pole jacks, so I'm just going to have to get clumsy with this. But we're going to start out by measuring the resistance of the primary button on here. The Fiio reacts to any button that is pressed on the cable in the same way, so really I could throw almost any resistor on there. But it would be nice to have it be compatible with other devices, so we'll just go ahead and make it correct. 102, 103 mega ohms down to 51 ohms. Release up to 10K, I guess, down to 51. Volume down is 607. Volume up is 222. Okay, so for reference, the graph was 5K for just the mic. Well, one should be like short, but whatever. Fine. So we'll do 51. So we'll go ahead. We're actually just going to use 47 ohms. It's close enough. Now we have to make a connector to go into our device. Now I don't have a cable with enough conductors to make a proper headphone cable, so we're going to use this old DIN cable that I'd cut up to make a TI-99 composite out video. And we're just going to cut a small length of this off, because this definitely has enough conductors to be able to use for this. So my intention here is to have there be a little clip that would sit on the inside of your pocket, and then you'd just be able to tap a button on your hip and then have the headphone jack here, and then the cable would run from the back into your pocket. So I only really need enough to go around a pocket down into wherever the device is, so that should be good about that. Alright. Alright, so I went through, beeped everything out. So we can see that the top of the connector here is this part. So we'll know that that is our mic. Then the second one goes all the way over to here. So we know that this is ground. Then we have the second piece here going to the top one. So we know that that is right. Which means the last one is left. So, now we know what the pinout is. Alright, so these are some pretty easy colors to work with. So, I'll actually make a minor adjustment to this. So, it'll be white mic, black ground, red right, and yellow left. Pretty easy. Alright, now we'll just slip these on the other end. And get everything aligned. I'm not crimping this down yet. I always end up having to make 100 changes to these types of things, so just leave it as is for now. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and do the other end of the cable. For this end, I'm actually going to attach it to some headers first because I want to prototype the circuit before I actually do it. Alright, so once again, we'll go through, flux our cables, flux our receiving connector, and we're ready to solder. This time it will be easier to do these first. I'm not going to do these in any particular order because I'm just going to be using wires to jump everything together, so it doesn't really matter. This one's a little extra hard to do without blocking the shot, so I'm going to use tweezers here. There we go. Not the cleanest and not the best shot, but there we are. Now, since I like my 6P and my Fiio, we're not going to use those to test this out. I dug out an old S3, and we're going to use this to do our testing with. I already tested the headphones are backwards compatible with this, so we'll go ahead and move forward with that. So I already had this pre-wired, a headphone jack with everything connected, so pretty easy here. Ground is black. So that'll let us pass through standard headphones, and we should be able to just test that immediately. We're going to move the headphones up by one of the microphones to guarantee that you guys can hear it. So, now the fun part. Had one of these pre-wired also, so we'll just use that for our button. Now we'll get out our 47 ohm resistor. So we're going to connect one side to white, our mic, and the other side to ground. That should let us pause the music. The 47 ohm resistor. Alright, let's try this out. Bingo! Awesome. Now, while we have something set up here that can take advantage of the volume controls, let's go ahead and just put those on as well. Okay, I went back to review the footage. The volume down was 607, the volume up was 222, so we'll use a 220 for volume up, and we'll do 560 for volume down. And I don't really have any more easy to use buttons, so I'm just gonna cheat. Use this cable. Alright. Play. Ah, there we go. Jeez. Yes. Alright. Going up. Down. Excellent. Alright, cool. Now that we can be reasonably confident that that works, let's try it out with the Fiio. Excellent. And the other ones are probably the same. Yeah. Yeah. Bad Fiio. Now the next step is take this and actually make something we can use out of it. Having it on a breadboard, this is not ideal. So, we're going to have something like this paper clip I reshaped to be a little clip that can snap on the inside of your pocket. I'm going to go ahead and solder these in place. Let's just do that right now. There we go. Makes a pretty decent clip. Now on the other side, we will have to figure out how we're going to flat mount this barrel jack, because I don't have a standard kind that can fit on there. Alright, I got that secure on the other side-ish, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flood some flux down in there. Trying to solder the outside of the barrel as well. Go through. No, solder definitely went through. What the heck? Or flux went through. Alright, let's do it this way. Maybe solder. Oh, it's all too eager to stick to it. Weird. Great, now it's going to suck. Hopefully that does it. Move it. Nope, that's on there. Okay. Good. Alright, that should be extremely secure now if it hasn't melted internally and doesn't function anymore, but we'll find out. Now for the 2 pins there, just go ahead, yank these out. And feed those through from the bottom. And now we can connect to it. Good. Now we're putting the paper clip on. Go ahead and just take that off. That's looking a little crusty, but I really tortured on this side trying to get the solder to flow through. Okay, so now we're going to secure the connectors, the pins on the other side. There we go. And that is on there. Ah, it's finally cool to the touch. So next step is button placement. So I'm just going to fit these on here. Yeah, that looks good. And then I actually am going to add a hold switch as well that'll disconnect these from either the microphone or ground. Well, from ground. That way I can turn them off if I want. So let's flip this over. Hopefully these buttons stay in. Good. And tack these in place. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, let's put the hold switch in. Looking and feeling good. Now the next thing I do before I add the resistors onto there is attach this cable so I know where they're going. But I'm going to trim this back a little bit more because I want to do some ghetto strain relief on here using a trick. So go ahead and make these as small as I possibly can now. That's looking tiny. Okay, now to solder this in place, I'm going to put each wire right here, with just barely enough solder. I'm going to guide each wire into place separately. And now they're all in there. Alright, start wiring some stuff up. So, strip some off of black for ground here. There we go. There we are. Yellow for left channel. This isn't the best way of doing this, I realize that. It is pretty quick though, and I don't need to be constantly switching tools to wire cutters. Jeez, get in there. Alright, now I don't have red, so we're going to use purple. It's like red, but it's got more awesome mixed in. Now the more complicated one. Before I continue, I'm just going to go ahead and test everything. Make sure I don't have any shorts. And that everything's actually connected. Left is... Yep. Right. Yep. Ground. Yep. None others. Nope. Alright, so we're good. Just run some audio through this to verify that as well. Let's run some audio through this just to double check that it's working. Alright, that sounds good. Perhaps this angle will work better for the next part. So we need to attach ground to all of one side. Well, first we need to attach ground to the connector here, and we need to attach it to all of the buttons. So go ahead and do this. Run this over here. Right, now one side will just be all of the buttons connected, and the other side will be off for the switch on the back. This side looks easier to get to. We'll make that the ground side. Alright, now the tactile buttons do not go the way you always wish they would, so you have contacts for both on both sides. So I need to do this weird serpentine thing to get around the other ones I don't want to touch. Now the other side, we will have to connect the white wire with our resistors. Now rather than trying to fit the full leaded resistors, I've just grabbed some 0x0016s. And I'm just going to use the values of those I have that are close-ish to the ones we used before. It's all just approximate. It really doesn't matter. So, alright, next I'm going to add the resistors. So, along the bottom here will be the volume down button. So I'll have the 560 ohm. In the middle will be a 47 ohm resistor for the play pause button, and at the top be a 215 ohm resistor for volume up. And now for the finale, the white wire. We have the 3 points we need to connect to. After this wire breaks, this should now be functional. And I'm going to run through one final check before plugging it into anything. Check for this again. Good. 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 Check for no shorts. Excellent. Let's check here. And turn the switch off. Good. Alright. I think it's going to work. Awesome. Well, isn't that just awesome? Oh, that makes me very happy. Alright. Let's put the clip back on, and then I'm going to go free this up off camera because it's going to be very messy. Alright, before I do the final reveal here, I'm having some issues with this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and have to insulate all of the contacts on here because they're just touching each other in there. This does not come with like little independent shrink tubes that you're supposed to put on there. I guess I had some, but I don't really want to disassemble this whole thing, and I don't trust it that much, so I'm just going to use good old-fashioned electrical tape on all the contacts inside. Alright, well, here we go. This is the completed version. It keeps doing this on the S3, and I read about someone else having this problem on another Android phone. But it works. So, I'm not sure what the cause is. Intriguingly, it does not work with my 6P. Nothing. So, admit the resistor values in here may be a little wrong, although the S3 likes it just fine, but clearly something's a bit wrong, but well, that's no good. But the Fiio, the main reason I made this, works just fine because it'll accept any resistors. No, no volume options, but I don't need that, so at least I got some out of it. Yep, say it's good. This connector sucks, by the way. Oh, got this on Amazon. It is way, way, way too tight. Yeah, so this part number, avoid that like the plague, because these suck. I will be replacing that. It's too tight in everything. And the inside I'm not super thrilled with, but I think they're all going to be about like that. I just need to actually put some shrink tubing on everything, but still, the plug being so tight is inexcusable. This is ridiculous. So much force to get it in there. It's way too tight. It's insane. But that kind of wraps up this project. So yeah, I hope some of you found that interesting. This is easily something that someone else could do at home, or please someone in China rip this off and manufacture these for dirt cheap, because it's literally 2 connectors, a couple of buttons, and some resistors. It is just a product waiting to be made. If I had a 3D printer and I could make a nice case for this and everything, I would try making a better one of these myself, but I don't have the materials here to do that. So I'll roll with this for a little while, see what I can do to improve upon it, because I'm very much interested in this idea. Back when the iPod video was a thing, I had the Apple remote control for that was an FM receiver, for the most part, but it had this option as well, and I loved that thing. I used Jesus out of that. So basically recreated it myself here. But yep, definitely some room to improve. Hate that, so be replacing that. But I hope some of you found that interesting. I know I learned some stuff. Hopefully some of you guys did as well.